Come along with me to spend 4 days in Positano. So prior to Positano, I was in Sorrento, so I hopped on the ferry and it was only about a 30-minute ride. When I arrived, I handed my bag off to a porter. My hotel had recommended this ahead of time, and I have to say they were definitely right. For $10 a bag, the porters take your bags up all the stairs for you, and it was really a lifesaver. Then I started my walk up to my hotel. I was staying in what they call Mid-Hill, so this was about a 15-minute walk from the ferry port. Of course, I stopped a lot on the way up to take pictures and look back at the view behind me because it was just so beautiful. After a very hot and sweaty walk up a lot of stairs, I finally arrived at the Eden Roc. This hotel is stunning, and everyone who worked here was so nice and welcoming. It was along a really busy road, but after check-in, they showed me this sort of secret staircase you can take to avoid walking with all the traffic, which was really nice and helpful. Now for the room tour, of course, I thought the shower was just stunning. I love the tile in here. And the room we stayed in was the superior room with sea view. And I believe all the superior rooms are located on the first floor. And this room ran us about 850 euros per night, so close to $1,000 US. I really appreciated all the attention to detail with these rooms. Even had charging ports that you did not need to use a converter for, and they had the USB-C port, which was really nice and a really cool feature I have not seen in other rooms in Europe. And then this was our little balcony with our little outdoor area. It was huge and so beautiful. It had a table and chairs, as you can see, and then they also had 2 sun loungers in the corner that we could use. This spot got great sun during the day. And then I wanted to show you all the flowers planted around the room, growing up the walls and in the planter box out front. It was so beautiful. I will say, if there is one con of this, the flowers did attract a lot of bees, which sometimes when we were sitting out there, the bees were kind of, in our food or coming to get us. You have to expect that when you're outside in nature and flowers, but that was just one drawback. Fridge was stocked with complimentary drinks, and they refreshed this every time they came to clean the room, which was really nice. And on our first day, they gave us a bottle of champagne, which was a really nice touch. Cheers. After enjoying our champagne, we headed upstairs for lunch. This is called the Eden Sky Bar, and then right next to it is the pool, so we spent a nice afternoon relaxing up here. There are absolutely beautiful views from up here. I will say the pool area was a little bit small. There were only 9 sun loungers, and so there were a few times when we came up to use the pool and there were no chairs available. For dinner on night 1, I was craving some lemon pasta, so we went to Cafe Positano. I really liked this place. It had great service, and we sat outside and there was a lot of great people watching. And this was the view from our table as it got dark. Walk back from the restaurant was so magical, seeing Positano for the first time at night all lit up. The next morning, we headed right up to the roof for breakfast, and this was included with our stay. I have to say, the Eden Roc breakfast did not blow me away. The area where you could serve yourself often had bowls that were empty, they were out of things. I didn't feel like the menu to order from had a ton of options. But this was the view from breakfast, and it was stunning, so that made up for it. And today is all about the beach. We're headed down to Fornillo Beach. It's a beautiful walk, and luckily this way it's downhill. Now, something I had seen online and been warned about was that maps can be very wrong in Positano, and this was true. So the route that Apple Maps first gave us to go to Fornillo Beach was like over an hour, and it went up through town and then down back. So do make sure you're cross-referencing the directions with something else to make sure they seem right. From our hotel, which again was in Mid-Hill, we headed back down to the ferry port. And then off to the right was this path that you see here, and we followed this for a ways. Eventually you'll get to these stairs and the beach is just down here. There were a bunch of different beach clubs down here. After walking back and forth and looking at the prices, we ended up deciding on Da Ferdinando. We paid 40 euros per chair. They wanted to charge 5 euros a beach towel, which maybe we should have just gotten, but I felt like that was kind of a ripoff when we were already paying just to sit in a chair. We did order some Cokes and fries, which is always great on the beach. And I've done the whole beach club thing before in Greece. A part of it is fun, but a part of it is a little bit of a ripoff if you ask me. I will say it was nice to have a chair with an umbrella. This was the view from the beach looking back. It was stunning. If I went here again, I would just bring a towel and go to the public section of the beach right here for free, honestly, because it's almost the same experience for, $0. And after a few hours at the beach, we hiked back up the same path to our hotel. And here from the path from the beach, I'm just showing you where our hotel is. I'm zooming in on it, so you can see what I mean by mid-hill. When you're booking your hotel, you really want to pay attention to where it is located on the hill, because as you can see here, it really affects how much walking you'll be doing and what your view is going to look like. After freshening up in the room, I really wanted to enjoy Apertivo as the Italians do, so we stopped into another hotel with a pretty view and grabbed some wine before dinner. After drinks, we shopped around a bit. There are tons of gift shops in Positano. There's also a lot of artists selling their art on the streets. And then we actually decided to go back to Cafe Positano for another dinner because the spaghetti al limone here was just so good. The next morning, we were up bright and early for our boat tour. And what I booked was called the Amalfi Coast group tour with the company BlueStar Positano. When you book, they guarantee you'll be with a small group of less than 12 people, and it was 115 euros per person. We headed down to the ferry port where they checked us in and explained how the day would go. They even gave us a map to show us all the places we'd be stopping. So this was a 7-hour boat tour. But of course we weren't spending 7 hours on the boat. There were multiple stops along the way that I'll show you. And our boat captain was Pacifico and our skipper was Fabio, and they were both so nice and fun. The first thing they did was pull the boat over here, and they offered for everyone to go up separately to the front of the boat and get a picture with this beautiful backdrop. The captain took the pictures for us. And I thought that was a really nice touch that they did that right off the bat. It's always great to get those pictures out of the way and know that you have them. Then we started on our way to Amalfi, and we stopped for swim breaks 4 different times along the way. They also had snorkeling gear on board and pool noodles to help you float. They were constantly offering us cold drinks and snacks. So my main reason for booking this boat tour was because they stop at the Emerald Grotto. The Emerald Grotto is a sea cave along the Amalfi Coast that was discovered in 1932, and it costs 10 euros per person to enter. The Emerald Grotto is different than the famous Blue Grotto, and a big difference is that you can walk into this cave. So our boat tour dropped us off on land, and then we entered the cave on our own. Some people opted not to go in, and they just hung out and sat outside. Our guide rode us around the cave. He was pretty funny. He asked where everyone was from, and then he would show us different formations in the cave and tell us that they looked like, a tower or a tourist attraction in wherever we were from.
Sagrada Familia, Cologne in Germany, whatever you want. This is my life. The water like this. Okay. Actually, again from this side. Madame, mister, look at the light. Look at the natural light. If you move the water, look at that. Give me 5 minutes. Again. It's like a fossil. It's like a snake. Serpent. No, this is a water and the salt, water and the minerals. It looks like a fossil. It's like prosciutto, Alexanderplatz, Berlin. Emeraldoni for you. Loki. Big diamond for you. Smeraldi. Bello, beautiful.
This nativity scene was placed here in the 1950s by some fishermen, and that was really cool to see. After about 15 minutes, the tour was over and we got back on our boat. So with this tour, our captain explained that there are 2 different options for visiting Amalfi. You can either decide to get off the boat and spend 3 hours in Amalfi before meeting the boat back at the meeting point, or the second option is to spend 1 hour exploring Amalfi, come back to the boat, and then go to a restaurant that is only accessible by boat. And this was not a group decision. Everyone got to decide for themselves what they'd like to do, and if you wanted to go to the restaurant, they called ahead for you and made a reservation. I decided I'd rather have the 3 hours in Amalfi to roam around and do whatever I wanted. I also had seen that the restaurant didn't have great reviews. We got off in Amalfi and started exploring. Once you get off and past the beach, it's pretty much just one long street with a lot of shops, restaurants, gelato places. Did climb these stairs to go to the Duomo de Amalfi. Then we walked around, went into some shops, and we found this really cool shop. The chocolate fountain is what lured me in. And then inside they had so many free samples of chocolate, of limoncello, of different breads and crackers and olive oils. It was really fun. I thought this water fountain was really cool. Look at all the little figurines on it. We grabbed lunch at a place I didn't love, so I'm not including it here. Honestly, what I had read online turned out to be true. A lot of the restaurants here were very much tourist traps and weren't great. I also stopped into a pharmacy and finally found the Me Amo lip gloss I'd been looking for. This went viral on TikTok, and none of the pharmacies in Rome or Sorrento that I went into had it, so I was really excited to find it in Amalfi. Then we spent some time on the beach, went in the water for a little bit, and then hopped back on our boat. On the way back from Amalfi, we stopped in the famous Fiordo di Furor. Here I butchered that pronunciation, sorry. They had everyone come to the front of the boat to experience this and played this music. I actually stayed sitting on the front of the boat for the rest of the ride because it was so beautiful up here. And they gave everyone more snacks and some limoncello shots, which was a nice touch to finish the day. Coming back into Positano was such a beautiful view, just like leaving was. And I would highly recommend this boat tour. It was definitely a trip highlight for me, and it's a great way to be able to see another town, to be able to see Amalfi without having to deal with the ferries or the buses and getting there by yourself. Plus, unless you're renting a car, the Emerald Grotto is a little bit tricky to get to on your own, so the boat taking you there is another plus. After a very long day out on the sun on the boat, we chilled by the pool and then ordered in some food to our hotel room. And I really loved this view we had from our balcony. I was just sitting outside trying to soak it in because I knew we were leaving the next day and I wanted to enjoy every last second. One small thing that was unfortunate is our last night we realized that there's a wasp's nest on our balcony. This is probably why we had such a problem with bees and wasps flying around us. If we had noticed this earlier, we would have asked the hotel to remove it, but unfortunately we realized our last night. On our last morning in Positano, we headed back up to the pool, relaxed here for a bit, ordered some Bloody Marys before checking out and heading back down to the ferry port to leave. For the walk down, we actually carried our own bags because we felt like downhill was easier and we'd save the 10 euros on the porter. Then we said goodbye to beautiful Positano. It was definitely hard to leave this place. So beautiful, so relaxing, highly recommend. And let me know down below if you have any other questions about Positano, about Italy, anything. I'm happy to answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for being here.